Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And we've got some new content coming out. This article came out 4 days ago. We've got new content coming out for Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Faerun. It is 8 new subclasses. So we're going to go over the brief description that they gave us for each one of these. We're going to talk about them, whether they're new, whether they're old, whether they've got new abilities or not, as far as the abilities they tell us. So lots to talk about, lots to go over. Stay tuned and don't go away. All right, before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. Hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and don't forget to share this video. All right, so here they are, the 8 right here. Now, for the Forgotten Realms books, here's the advertisement for them. They come out on the 11th, so in about 2 weeks, we're going to be getting these. Let me make sure I've got this blown up all the way. There we go, so we can see it. And we've got our 8 new classes, or 8 new subclasses. Some of them are not as new as you think. So we've got College of the Moon Bard, Knowledge Domain Cleric, Banneret Fighter, Oath of the Noble Genies Paladin, Winterwalker Ranger, Scion of the Three Rogue, Spellfire Sorcerer, and Blade Singer Wizard. And out of these, the Knowledge Domain, and I've got some notes I'm looking at here, the Knowledge Domain Cleric and the Blade Singer are old. They were released in other books. Blade Singer was released in the original Sword Coast book for 5th edition, and I can't remember where Knowledge Domain comes from. Let's take a look here. That is going to be in Sources, I think, classes, and it was a cleric class, and there it is right there. So it was, I don't think they really tell you where these come from. No, they don't, but it was Legacy. It definitely was Legacy. We'll have to see how it changes. So let's take a look at each one of these so far. So we've got College of the Moon Bard and Born of the Moonshays Song and Fey Magic. So they're kind of like Fey Bards, and they have a few new features. So this is a new subclass, and they've got a few new features. So it looks like that we're going to get some healing with this Inspired Eclipse option. They can vanish in a shimmer of moonlight and reappear elsewhere on the battlefield. And then through the Lunar Vitality, they can bolster their healing spells and restore extra vitality. So we'll have to see how that ties in with Bardic Inspirations. But looks like we're going to get some kind of teleporting, which is Misty Steppy type of thing that is very Fey. We're going to get some healing. And then it looks like there's some kind of moonbeam power that they're going to get as well. All right, and then the Knowledge Domain Cleric. So this is not new. This is a rework. And they're going to get some kind of skill mastery with their Blessings of Knowledge. Their Mind Magic feature is going to allow them to call upon their deities to grant spells of insight and foresight, so maybe divination. And then they're getting this Unfettered Mind feature, which is going to allow some kind of telepathy, and then some kind of resistance for intelligence saving throws, which there are not very many classes that can do well on intelligence saving throws, or except for like wizards or artificers whose base stat is intelligence. Now, let's go back and look at the old Knowledge Domain Cleric, and they did get some. So we got like Augury and Arcane Eye and Legend Lore. Those were all kind of divination type things. We got the Blessings of Knowledge, so we got extra training or extra proficiencies. We did get Read Thoughts. So it looks like they're going to be sticking with the old, for the most part, the old Knowledge Domain. Then we're getting the Banneret Fighter, which is a new subclass. And it looks like they're going to be using their second wind to bolster allies. So they hold their banner up, I guess, and then they're going to, say rallying words and people will heal. So it says through their nightly envoy feature, they bridge words and steel, mastering languages and diplomacy to turn tense parley into an alliance. And then with their group recovery, they can rally wounded companions to their feet, their second wind breathing life into the hearts of allies. They get this team tactics, which expands their group recovery into an advantage that their allies can use to turn the tide of any battle. Maybe that gives people advantage on attack rolls for a round. And then at higher levels, they get the rallying surge feature, which spurs comrades into motion. So maybe they'll get like a half a move and giving them a chance to strike or reposition as a reaction. So that actually doesn't look too bad. I'm looking forward. I like all the kinds of fighters. Nothing is going to top the Battle Master, but this one, maybe, we'll have to see. It might come close. All right, next we've got the Oath of Noble Genies Paladin. Not really sure. They're elemental paladins. Okay. They, see, it says, you are the living covenant of the elements, earth, your strength, air, your grace, fire, your wrath, and water, your mercy. They draw their might from the elemental planes, channeling the majesty of the Tao, Jinn, Efreets, and Mards. Efreets are evil. I got news for them. So many hail from Kalasham, which is like a genie country in Faerun. And let's see, they're getting Elemental Smite. So they're going to be able to do 4 different types: grasping foes with earth and might, vanishing in a swirl of wind, unleashing cascading fire, or summoning waves. So maybe these smites will have extra abilities. They kind of nerfed smites for the paladin in 2024, so this actually might be a pretty good feature. And then there's the genie's splendor, which gives them grace when unarmored. I'm not sure how much I like that, given that paladins are supposed to be heavily armored. And then they get Aura of Elemental Shielding, which grants them and allies in their aura protection have resistance to damage dealt by their chosen element. Then Elemental Rebuke allows them to turn the wrath of the attackers back upon them, reducing damage of the attack and lashing out with elemental energy. Usually these things don't do a whole lot of energy. It's probably something like their strength bonus or their proficiency bonus. It's not massive. As long as they can do it every turn, that would be nice. All right, the next one we have is the Winter Walker Ranger. Rangers are generally pretty lame to begin with. I wasn't really happy with how they change the Ranger in 2024. So it says, in the tundra, the blizzard is your cloak, the cold your blade. So this is a new class, and they're going to get this Frigid Explorer feature, which they strike with the biting cold of the tundra. Their attacks and spells cutting through even creatures with resistance to cold. So it looks like they're going to do like extra powerful cold damage. And then at the same time, their Hunter's Rhyme feature grants them resilience while trapping their quarry in icebound pursuit. So maybe they're going to have a restraining ability. That would be pretty cool. Ice control, something like that. And then Fortifying Soul lets them share that endurance. So they get some kind of endurance to embrace the cold. And it gives their allies strength and hardening their resolve against fear. So maybe they'll be able to get rid of fear. And then when pressed, their Chilling Retribution feature allows them to answer with a freezing backlash that halts foes mid-strike. So that's going to probably be a reaction. I do like reactions. Then we get the Scion of the Three. You impart the teachings of the Dead Three in blood, in terror, in tyranny. So where do these guys come from? Oh, Bane. Bane, Baal, and Merkel. So the god of tyranny, the god of violence and murder, and the god of death. These guys sound like they are not good. So, but this is a new class, new subclass, and we are getting, what does it look like? Some kind of teleport strike. So with their Bloodthirst feature, you can teleport to a recently wounded foe and strike again, turning another suffering into an invitation to kill. And then their Dread Allegiance feature allows them to channel a small portion of the power of the Dead 3, granting both damage resistance and dark grit of magic based on who they choose. So I don't know what that power is going to be. And then finally, they have a Strike Fear feature, which allows them to put the Frightened condition on, which is great. There are very few things that are better than Frightened. The growing corruption within becomes palpable through their aura of malevolence, which lashes out with the Dead 3's energy when they use their Bloodthirst feature, which is that one that lets them teleport. So who knows what that's going to do. Then we've got the Spellfire Sorcerer. This, again, is a new subclass. The Weave will remember the light of your flame. So their Spellfire is like this raw, chaotic energy that's in Faerun. And these sorcerers are rare souls touched by the raw essence of magic, the Weave. And then they get their spells crackle with radiant heat and healing light. Through the Spellfire Burst feature, they can unleash this volatile force when they expend their sorcery points, releasing searing flares of radiant or fire damage, or surrounding them and their allies with bolstering flames. This sound like they're going to empower allies and heal them, or do more damage. And then as they discover more of their innate talents, this sounds cool. This one really sounds cool. The Absorb Spells feature grants them the ability to absorb magic, turning spells thwarted by Counterspell, which Counterspell kind of got a nerf, into fuel for their own sorcery. The Hone Spellfire feature strengthens the Spellfire Burst, expanding both the protection and devastation. So I like this thing right here. I like the Sorcerer a lot in 2024, and a lot of the Sorcerer subclasses are not great. I do like the Wild Magic Sorcerer, but anything that is equal to that would be pretty cool, and Counterspell is still a great spell. And then finally, we've got the Blade Singer. So if we go back here to classes, if I can get there, classes, and we go all the way back down to the Wizard, the old Blade Singer is here. And just want to make sure that these two things click together. So every step a syllable, every cut a verse. And it looks like we're going to get Blade Singers can move with preternatural speed and poise. Their attacks stem from their mind as much as their body. Through the Training in War and Song feature, which looks like it's right there. So proficiency with armor, proficiency with a one-handed weapon, and performance. So with that, they enhance their skills, master elegant weapons, and use them as conduits for their spells. That sounds a little bit different, so we'll have to see how that is. As their mastery goes, they gain the extra attack. And this was always the kind of the major feature in addition to the Blade Song itself. So we had the Blade Song, and so when the Blade Song feature is active, Blade Singers can move. Okay, so there's that. And then hopefully they're not going to take away the Blade Song feature of this bonus to your armor class from intelligence. But, so as your master go, you gain the extra attack, which allows you to weave, steal, and spell together, striking with your sword one moment and unleashing their arcane talents the next. So you could substitute a cantrip for one of your attacks, which was great. So you could attack and you could use, say, Booming Blade or something like that. Or, with the new True Strike spell, that would be awesome. And then with the Song of Defense feature, they transform spell slots into barriers of energy. They're magic hardening like armor to deflect mortal harm. Is that a thing? They got the extra attack, Song of Defense. There it is. Okay. And so it looks like a lot of the stuff is going to carry over from the Blade Singer. Blade Singer is one of my favorite classes or subclasses. So hopefully it will carry over all the way. But that is what I have for everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I will catch everybody later.